and welcome! It's yet another Star to Steer Her By, your favorite Star Trek watching podcast. We are now on episode, I think it's 336?
It is!
Hooray!
Woo!
Boo.
And after 336 episodes, plus, all the extras and bonuses and nonsense we do, and our blog, which you're definitely following, you all know this is Ames.
This is Caitlin.
Is this the right order?
Yes.
Oh, then this is Jake.
Jesus Christ.
Are you certain, though, that this is Chris?
No. Here we are, and it's a very special episode of A Star to Steer Her By this week, so get ready to get preached at with these very topical allegories of episodes, because we are covering Enterprise episodes Stigma and Ceasefire.
Stigma? More like ligma.
Yikes.
More like smegma.
Ew.
Also yikes.
Wait, what did you say? What's ligma?
Ligma balls.
You've fallen for this before.
Oh my god!
Am I?
How
No.
have you never done ligma before?
I know about Bofa.
As long as you've done
And I
up
know
to-
about Deacon.
Well, now you know about ligma.
I
Yikes.
do.
Weird. You guys are fucking weird. You know what else is fucking weird? Stigma. Let me
my god.
Let me tell you
Stigma
about
balls.
stigma. Jesus.
In my mouth?
God. Jesus.
Oh.
This is all very inappropriate. for
Stigma
this
balls in your
episode.
mouth.
See, I was going to say, I'd say this is inappropriate, but then again, we had the B plot we had, so...
All right, let me tell you about it, guys.
Actually, before you get into that,
No!
there's something I forgot to mention last week that I know that I wanted to mention last week, and I forgot to mention it last week, so I'm going to mention it this week, even though it's a week late.
All right.
And that is Catwalk. Remember Catwalk?
I remember Catwalk.
We're all
Yeah.
stuck
Meow.
Where I
Well,
shook my little tush? Yeah.
So, I realized that it was not last week was our episode 334, right?
No.
Or 335 or
Yes.
something. So when we did episode 333, I looked something up, but I was off by I don't know why it's off. But anyway, last week, episode 335 of Star to Steer Her By, we covered Catwalk. Catwalk is episode 666
Oh
of
my.
Star Trek.
Ooh, is that counting the animated series?
I don't know. I just saw
Oh.
it. I saw it on when I was looking at something. I saw it on
All right, well, Chris, splice this out, put this in the correct episode so that I can talk about Stigma. Here we are, we're doing the thing. We learn that T'Pol contracted Panar syndrome, basically Vulcan brain AIDS, from that mind rape Teleris inflicted upon her, as if we needed more to hate about fusion. So Phlox, foolishly, thinks he's stealthy enough to get information from some Vulcan doctors about it, even though T'Pol tells him not to, because she'll be turned into a social pariah if they find out that she engaged in a mind meld, because those things are taboo or some shit. And that's like the only way to get Panar syndrome and all this thing. The allegory doesn't entirely work all the time, but that's what you gotta know. So, of course, immediately, guys, the Vulcan doctors know that Phlox is fucking lying, and they find out that she is engaged in a mind meld, and they really want to recall T'Pol from the Enterprise. So Archer steps in, waggling his dick around as he is wont to do, prepared to be angry at absolutely everyone.
Well, to be fair.
He's mad at Phlox for being so unstealthy it was painful to watch.
I have a friend on
Yes.
Denobula.
You wouldn't know her.
She's from Canada.
Her name is T'Pol.
He's mad at T'Pol for not just broadcasting to everybody on the ship all her private information about her fucking life and medical history. But mostly, as usual, he is mad at the Vulcan doctors for being so prejudiced against the Melders, which is totally fair, and which T'Pol isn't one of anyway.
You know, for once I'd say, at least in that, Archer's anger is justified.
Yeah, the way he took it out on T'Pol was mean, though. I didn't like that.
Yeah, no, that one great.
So meanwhile, T'Pol gets covertly summoned by the youngest doctor, Eurus. Did not look that young, T'Pol, but maybe you know better.
Vulcan young.
Aging. Who wants to help her because he's actually in that subculture of Vulcans who can do mind melds. So he gives her some research and tells her that she should come forward with the details that she was forced into the mind meld. And then Archer tells her that she should come forward with the details that she was forced into the mind meld. And then Phlox tells her that she should come out and tell her about the fucking mind meld. It's all just countless scenes of men telling a woman what to do without understanding that she's the one who's going to have to deal with the consequences, and it's kind of rude. But we'll get into this because it's really, really fucking complicated, guys.
I was so angry.
Because here we go. Archer has demanded a hearing in which, goddamn, Eurus just spills the beans all over the place that T'Pol was assaulted. I was shocked it wasn't Archer, so I gotta give my boy credit for that. And then Eurus, of course, gets himself thrown out of his doctor club for being a melder, who didn't see that coming. T'Pol stands up for herself a little bit because she makes it clear the point isn't that she was mind raped. It's that the stigma exists at all. But all right, we're gonna kind of put a caveat on this and do our best because this is a really complicated allegory, and there's serious topics, and there's like AIDS and homophobia and mind rape and too many things. Content warnings all around.
Yeah.
It's awful.
So in the end, all the men in the room were right after all, because T'Pol gets to keep her commission because of coming clean about the circumstance. Oh, and in the B plot, summing it up in one sentence, Phlox's wife Feasel is on board, sexually harassing Tucker all over the place every chance she gets, even though he's uncomfortable about the whole thing, because in an episode that's a thinly veiled reference to gay people, apparently it's poly people who are the true deviants. The end.
Yeah. I have to say, it is it's interesting watching the contortions that this generation of Star Trek writers go through to avoid mentioning the existence of gay people.
Yeah.
Do you guys want the backstory up front?
Sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Here it is. It's 2002. I don't remember anything I was doing in 2002.
15 years too late for this topic.
But here's the thing. UPN mandated that all their fictional programs on the network must produce a special episode addressing the AIDS-HIV epidemic, or pandemic, whichever demic it is.
I think it was an epidemic.
Yeah, I think also.
But it's also, again, Star Trek should have been dealing with, like, it just highlights how much they dropped the ball 15 years earlier by not having anything about this
really,
then.
at the end of the day, everyone did, basically.
When they might have also handled it better, because let's just remind T'Pol that she's been raped 85 times, and
like, it's one of those things, like, no one really addressed it at the time, except Nick News, basically.
Only on Nick News.
Like, I remember, them doing a whole episode dedicated to AIDS in, like, the early 90s. And
Nick News did?
Yeah!
I don't remember.
I remember that
Sorry.
too, actually. It was loud.
Don't yell at me.
Sorry. No, that was like...
What?
Yeah, it was meant to be like a... I mean, again, it's impressive. I'm surprised that they were permitted to, considering the fucking paranoia at the time,
But
still
Nick is
then.
for kids. How did they talk to kids about this before talking to adults about this?
Very bluntly and straightforwardly.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
What was her name? Something Ellerby. Linda Ellerby?
Linda Ellerby.
Ellerby. Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, that show dealt with, like, real shit.
What was Nick News?
Yeah.
Nick News.
Any of
Only
this.
on Nick News.
And it
Sunday
was-
nights at like 7 or 8.
Don't remember.
It was Sunday nights, I remember that.
But yeah, it was very just direct, and it spoke to children, assuming that, they would listen and are intelligent if you treat them intelligently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so, like, no one did, I mean, like, if anyone really should have tried harder, it should have been Star Trek, but again, networks. Well, then again, though, they were syndicated, so they probably had more freedom, so yes.
Well, I have another story in that case.
Here we go.
We're going back even further now. We're going back to May of 1987. I was shitting my pants, probably.
Same.
And David Gerald, we know him from Tribble fame, wrote a TNG script called Blood and Fire, which had gay characters and an HIV allegory, but it was turned down. He thinks it's because they were negatively reacting to there being an openly gay couple on the show. And it has since been rewritten into an episode of Star Trek New Voyages, which we should watch sometime.
Yeah.
What is that?
Isn't it like a
fan show.
fan series?
Neat.
Fan wake.
Good for him, though, at least trying...
Yeah.
Then, because especially, 87.
Yeah,
that was
he was
still,
getting in at the ground floor.
What's really right? So here's what pissed me off. So also going back to 1987. So the Reagans, famously
the worst.
The worst.
Garbage people.
Why would anyone do drugs, Tasha?
Well, I was going to mention this. So, symbiosis. You'll recall the episode with the "Why would anyone do drugs?" Tasha.
One of your favorite episodes from season 1.
Well, because aside from that scene,
it's good. But you recall who was one of the guest stars in that episode? Merrick Buttrick, who died of AIDS not long after.
Well, didn't they specifically, like, part of the reason they cast him was because he basically needed
money.
the money for his fucking medical treatments?
Yeah. So, like, in an episode that has a fucking Reagan-era Just Say No ad, and features a HIV-positive actor in a prominent role, it's just like, it drives home to me just how much the fact that this episode, Stigma, exists, just drives home how shitty they were about this.
Well, it's like
way earlier.
Yeah, it's like it's Star Trek and UPN by mandating this. It's like everyone admitting 15 years too late that they are late.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm not saying it makes it better. It's like, oh yeah, thanks for your apology when it doesn't fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that it doesn't matter. I mean, this is 2002, and you know, I mean. Well, then again, it's fucking... The problem is, in some ways, you know, while people are less freaked out about AIDS, you know, we're seeing homophobia sharply on the rise again. Or at least, I guess less on the rise and more people just being more open about the fact that they're pieces of shit.
Well, everybody's being more open about their piece
That's
of
true.
shitliness.
Yeah,
You're talking about in 2024, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But in 2002, you know, it was... A lot of people still could, like...
Because you didn't talk about it so much.
Yeah, it was still, you know, I mean, gay marriage wasn't a thing yet. And stuff. It was, you know, it was still very easy to do. I mean, fuck, I remember growing up in that era, you know, something was deemed dumb or bad, it was gay. Like, that was just the go-to. So, it was still relevant in some regards. It is still relevant now. Like, the only part that's aged sort of weirdly is the, like, AIDS epidemic aspect of it. But
yeah, I feel like if you were a younger person, as in someone that was, say, born around the time this episode came out, watching this episode now,
yeah,
I wonder if you would lack the cultural context about the AIDS epidemic to really get it.
Yeah.
Because like we have that cultural context.
Yeah, and we also it's obvious watching this episode what they're getting at.
Well, and even us, like we're a little too young.
I was gonna say I was barely born when that shit was starting. You know,
we starting, but I mean, I feel like throughout the '90s, like I read the Ryan White story and.
Well, I think we weren't there. Well, we were probably there technically, but not at all conscious.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah. We were kind of coming of age when people were starting to, like, be less paranoid. Like I said, we had that, like... It was the start of people putting out there that, like... You know... It's you know, first of all, it's only communicable through very specific ways, and there's nothing wrong with having it. You know, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. You know, we missed sort of the early days when, you know, rather infamously during, a White House briefing, people were cracking jokes about AIDS and, like, literally the whole reporter pool was just laughing along to the jokes. Like, we were there when people were starting to right the ship, albeit very slowly. Yeah. So even our context is a little different.
So why did they mandate doing this in 2002?
Who the fuck
very
knows?
Lost.
Well, probably because kids were calling everything fucking gay and being little dickbags. I mean, one of my best friends in high school, someone who was my best friend, came out to me in 9th grade. And honestly, like, I can honestly say that I've always been this person because I was like, oh, cool. Do you think Hugh Jackman's hot? What about James Dean? Yeah? Perfect. We're going to be just fine. Like, I could not have cared less. And I know for him it was probably, like, really scary. But for me, I was just like, that's cool, bro. But, like, I do wonder, though, if that's why. Like, maybe it was like, we're trying to save the kids because the kids are doing all the same shit and calling everything gay.
But they're not doing a gay episode. They're specifically doing an AIDS episode.
Yeah.
And, well, I mean, they are and they aren't. Because I think... Though it was conspicuous how they kept referring to melders as
the minority,
degenerates, or whatever the fuck, or whatever they're saying.
You know, I'm a member of that minority. And like the scene. It's
not something you can control. You just have it.
Yeah, the scene where the Vulcan doctor gave to Paul the medicine and the research. It was almost, why do people do drugs, Tasha? Levels of bonk bonk on the head.
That's funny because right before that, because I vaguely recall this episode, but not the details.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he makes kind of a face at her as he leaves the room, and I said to Kate, it's like, I don't remember, but he just made a face. I bet he can do mind melds. And I was like, oh, yep, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, here's the thing. The problem with this episode is it grows out of an awful and unnecessary and horrifying episode.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, there's like...
And that guy's never going to get comeuppance.
No.
Ever.
No. There's like 20-year ago, well-meaning liberal allegory going on here. And you just feel like, I don't know, but I feel like probably a lot of the people involved in creating this episode...
were straight and didn't have AIDS.
Yeah. I don't know, but you know? Was that
and there was also men, because it was Berman and Braga.
Oh, God.
Of course it was Berman and Braga. And... that was the thing
the other thing, yeah.
It's such a complicated episode because I can see everything they were going for,
yeah.
and it's such a deep issue to try to discuss. But they never let T'Pol talk about it because I think they made it in such a way that they combined it with her rape story.
Yeah.
And all I can do is I'm trying to watch the AIDS allegory, but I'm stuck watching the rape allegory. And every time a man says to her, like, why won't you just tell everybody? You should tell everybody about your experience. It's like, there are myriad reasons why she wouldn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, they're already going to make her into some kind of social outcast. The more you want her to drag it up and push herself down is troubling.
Yeah. But also, I appreciate, though, for her character, that her reasoning is, like, part of her reasoning is other obvious things aside, she says outright, like, it's not fair that I should get this, like, pass.
Yeah.
Right.
I liked that. I wish they talked about that more.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, again, that's something impressive for this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but instead it's Archer saying, but we should make an excuse for T'Pol, because, it wasn't her fault. Yeah, but is it anybody else's fault that they're born this way, that they're able to do this meld?
And that's I think, like, having her say that, admits that they kind of get it, even the writers. Like, Archer doesn't, because he's Archer, and he doesn't pick up on things very quickly.
He goes to anger first, and then listens.
Yeah.
No, because, in a sense, I'm sure the propaganda around melding is that, like, oh, a melder will assault you,
probably,
and steal your thoughts and make you
like this fucking asshole did.
Like this fucking asshole did. So and
hey, not all melders.
Well, right, exactly,
but definitely Hilaris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Definitely that melder.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, exactly. No, he's the worst. That man is a piece of shit. But I think what T'Pol was trying to say is, like, I don't want to condemn these people as being undesirable because I was assaulted. You know? It's not.
Yeah, it's really quite noble of her.
Yeah.
Because she could just have this out, basically, and it does work out for her.
But at the same time, like, she is standing on principle to protect. I mean, I think really, in a sense, it's to protect what's his name, the other Vulcan.
The doctor?
The Vulcan doctor.
Oh, Eurus?
Yeah. Because
Who seems like a good guy.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Well, especially when he, like, at the end is like, actually, bitch.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think I didn't hate this.
No, I didn't hate this, but I felt like there were so many moments that I'm like, I want this to have gone a way that was a little more folk. I don't know what I wanted exactly, but it wasn't what we got.
I would have... Oh, go ahead.
It could have... Like, I think I was expecting... Because, again, I didn't remember it super, super well. But I was definitely expecting it to go so much worse. But also, like I said, or you said, too, like, it's kind of inescapable that it can't exist without fusion, and that's always in the back of your mind, and then they bring it up directly, and you're just like...
you have to.
You have to, yes.
Archer didn't get it for a while when T'Polla's like, yes, I have this disease, and he's like, oh no, this is terrible. She's like, yeah, I got it from a certain act that I did. And he's like, oh no, what was it? She's like, oh my god, Archer, how much do I have to spell this out for you?
I feel like that's an unfortunate thing of just like, Archer had to be there being an idiot for the sake of them being able to give exposition for people who either hadn't seen or forgot fusion.
How could anyone forget fusion? What a piece of shit.
Fair, but...
With a lot of head trauma.
This episode, like, honestly, from start to finish, just pissed me off so much. Because it's like, okay, so not only were you raped, you were given space aids. And then, not only were you raped and given space aids, but your medical privacy is being... hugely fucking ignored by literally everybody. Because
Vulcans, Archer, and Phlox alike.
Right, the Vulcans and Phlox and Archer, and then the fucking Vulcan doctor is like, yes, she was raped. And it's like, she specifically, you promised, you son of a bitch. You gave your word that you weren't gonna fucking say anything.
Well, it's like you said, Vulcans love lying.
I know. But it's so frustrating. It's like, let's just fucking rape her over and over again. Let's just keep taking away her fucking, you know what I'm saying. Agency. Thank you. And at the same time, by the way, let's put it with this fucking B-plot where a woman is, like, basically assaulting the shit out of Trip for some nyucks. Like,
yeah, this was not
this episode.
This was not the episode for that B-plot.
No, it wasn't, because they
so mad.
They also, the whole time, they treat it like Trip is being stupid and not pouncing on this.
Well, he was being stupid and not pouncing on it,
but he didn't want to. Not once in the episode does he say he wants to fuck her.
Oh, well, then in that case, he did the right thing.
Yeah, that B-plot just shouldn't have been here. But the way to do it better in a different episode, step one. Different episode.
Couldn't we have done that with the cake flavor episode?
Yeah. That could have been the two plots. Phlox's wife is here. What cake does Reed like? Great episode, maybe. But what you do is you have him go to Phlox right away. Being like, I think your wife's hitting on me, Doc. And he goes, oh, delightful. You should totally fuck her. And then he could be like, what? And then, rather than it being like...
Did she give you a rose petal bath?
He's freaked out by her. It's him being like... Well, I've never considered this. And him sort of like, actually kind of like, maybe being more flirty with her, but ultimately maybe still deciding like, you know what, this isn't for me, and they part ways friends.
Then he sees the toenails, and he's just like, nope.
No, yeah,
get
the
oh, no, don't worry. This would follow that like, fantasy races rule, where like, the men are always monsters, but the women are just like, green or blue or pink versions of humans. Conveniently, Denobulan women don't have the horrible, horrible toenails, I'm sure.
Yeah, but what do you think the pussy looks like?
Pufferfish.
What?
Because of Phlox's head.
Pufferfish, I hardly know her fish.
Speaking of, they gave...
But I'd like to.
I think I compared his hair to Frasier's once, and like Frasier, after a couple seasons, they do appear to have given Phlox a trim.
Sure.
Well, that's good.
I don't know. The thing with the Feasel plot is, like you said, she's assaulting him the whole fucking episode long.
Yeah.
Sexually
like in the workplace, no
and
less. Like this isn't like in a club.
Yeah.
He's not dressed like he wants it. He's fucking at work.
Yeah. While they're actively doing a project together, like write this bitch up.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not that Trip goes to Phlox for like permission to fuck her. He goes there to say like, I mean, he's concerned that Phlox will be offended that
find
his
out
wife
and be
likes
angry.
him.
Yeah.
And he just has a different preference than Denobulans do.
Yeah.
And they don't treat that with any respect at all.
No.
Well, that's a comedy B plot.
Yeah, which again, no.
Anytime, like that's the thing. Anytime they try to make the comedy B plot something that is sexual,
Denobulan.
Well, it is sexual in general. It always ends up being really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What ones are you thinking of?
Oh God, Prophet and Lace.
Well, yeah.
That's not a B plot. That's
really
the whole
B-plot.
plot.
But
I know,
yes.
but in my mind it wasn't. Come on. So bad.
But there were other ones too. Like the time like Jake Sisko wanted to bang Kira for some reason.
Oh, that was
for some reason.
Wasn't it? Well, yeah, really.
That was fascination. That was the main plot.
Wasn't that the one
also
where Wasn't that when Troy showed up and had the horny? Or was that a different episode? Or was that TNG?
Yeah, that's the same one.
Yeah.
When
Oh, okay. So that's why she's in love with it, because she's given off horny old lady
yes.
pheromones
I believe
or whatever.
It's Xanthe fever?
Yeah,
That
sure.
sounds
So
right.
really, basically, they should just stay away from sex.
They should,
Panty
yes,
fever,
Because
for
it's
God's
just-
sake.
It's always uncomfortable.
It's the worst.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's to clarify. In my version, he still goes to Phlox, to be like, not to ask permission so much, to just be like, so this is happening, and then Phlox explains,
Mm-hmm.
and then
he considers, and then thinks to himself, yeah, but then I have to have weird drama with Phlox.
yeah, and like ultimately that,
And I don't want that.
I think he still
Because
wouldn't.
Phlox would be asking you as he steals food off your plate, so, did you enjoy my wife?
Well, plus, let's be honest.
Oh my god.
There is no
Get the fuck away
way.
from me, Phlox.
There is no way fucking her does not end up with a three-way with Phlox, which sounds horrifying.
I don't know, I might be interested.
Very upset. By
Phlox?
I might be interested. Well, I mean, if he's fucking, maybe he doesn't talk so much.
Speaking of talking, I can't remember if it was in this. Maybe does he not even appear in the next episode? I don't think he does.
Mayweather?
Oh, he does. Ceasefire. He
Poor Mayweather.
he is there because Archer needs to go down to planet half Vulcan, half.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
and
gotta
he has to get
bombard him.
bombarded.
He has to be bombarded, and then Archer has to tell him, like, maybe one day I'll lead the Federation. And he goes, shut up, Archer.
Anyway,
That's in a
Oh,
moment, though.
but in this episode, there was one scene. I think it was when Phlox was talking to Trip, and he sounded like he was doing a Thermian voice.
That was his smug. You must fuck my wife voice.
should just fuck my wife.
You're right. Yeah, it was the rose petal bath or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, did she give you the rose petal bath?
I didn't
Oh
think.
no,
I
that's Phlox's
Those poor
turned on
people.
voice.
I didn't
Oh,
think of
God.
that at the time, but that's exactly what it is. Also, we did see poor Mayweather. He had like 3 lines about how he got the shit kicked out of him during what sounds like bull lacrosse.
With melons and
Yeah.
yeah, Mayweather, what the fuck?
Delicious.
You poor son of a bitch.
He keeps having these.
It's a living.
Well,
Like-
the only way they can get him like into the show at all is by having him constantly injured.
Yeah, like seriously, we see him most like what fucking in
His
in
headache the other
the
day.
Space Crazies
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the time he like fell down the
Singularity.
moving mountain
And
in
we
the
still
shore
haven't
leave
seen-
episode.
A single fucking practical joke.
No.
Yep.
Like, that's the thing with this show. There's 2 running gags. You never see Chef, and you only see Mayweather after he's had a misadventure on a planet.
Listen, it was an excuse to show off his abs, so good for him.
I'm on board. Washboard.
Ah.
That
Abs.
actor's just using the show to audition for modeling gigs.
Mm. But yeah, I feel like not successful A plot that meant well and
Yeah.
did better than I would have expected.
Archer was better than I expected.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I feel like Archer is a bumbling shit and he does some stuff that he probably shouldn't and he's always up in everybody's grill. But I also feel like he cares deeply about his crew and I wouldn't expect him to not be cool.
He had a great line. He says, well, it's been a while since I've been embarrassed by a Vulcan dignitary. And my response was, really?
Has it though?
Every time you've encountered a Vulcan dignitary,
Yeah,
Archer.
I
They
think
hadn't encountered any recently.
I
I was going to say, the unspoken part was when he realized he should be embarrassed.
Yeah, I did. The actor that played the head Vulcan there, who we've seen many times, he was the uptight guy from First Contact.
The episode, not the
episode,
movie.
not the movie.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
He was the guy that was going to kill Riker to save his people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he was also the storyteller guy from the episode with
Oh, False Prophets.
False Prophets.
Wait, Miles? Storyteller guy?
No.
False Prophets.
The one that were
Oh,
He
the
was-
one that kind of reminded me of John Cleese in that episode,
Yes.
but not here.
Yeah.
Yes, him. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
with
we
the eye
like him.
patch. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good.
we see him a bunch. He's good. He was fine in this. He played a good smug Vulcan asshole.
Yeah, I was thinking whoever's in casting, like, just keeps not him as much, but like a lot of the background ones and the like sub commander that isn't T'Pol in the next one. They're doing a great job of just casting background Vulcans whose default facial expression is "I am smelling shit and I cannot tell where it's coming from." Like, it's especially bad on sub commander, not T'Pol, but in general, like, really good job of just they're just like,
Oh, since you brought up Sub Commander Not to Paul, I know we're not on that episode yet, but since it came up, I want to mention it now. That actor, I was like, Amy's like, do we know him? And I was like, he's very familiar. We don't know him from Star Trek.
Oh.
But
Stargate.
Have you ever watched the television show Parks and Recreation?
I've seen a handful of episodes. I swear, someday watch all of it.
Okay.
Skip the first season.
Yeah,
I hear that a lot.
It's actually entirely skippable, too.
So.
Good to know.
He plays a really, really good character on that show. For our listeners who may have seen the show, he plays the accountant that is constantly elated to hire Ben, only for Ben to quit the same day repeatedly.
Fair enough.
It's a good running joke.
It's
and this guy is so nerdy and good, and we like him.
Fair enough.
There was another thing I wanted to bring up about this, because there was another complaint I've seen about this episode is just how they kind of continuously seem to be retconning the mind meld, and they're going to do it more, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Because originally in Fusion, it's like, this is an obsolete practice. We haven't even talked about it in centuries.
Yeah.
To suddenly, T'Pol, you know about mind melds, right? She's like, of course I know about mind melds. Sure. Wow.
Well,
of course you did.
And also now it's the whole reason these guys left Vulcan instead of just, we decided Vulcan society was a drag.
We like having emotions sometimes.
Well, do we know that all of the cast-off Vulcans were mothers?
Well, that's just what the head doctor said, and he is a prick, so maybe not.
Yeah. Well, because because remember, one of them was I don't remember the character's name. Kov, who was just didn't get along with his dad.
Or Pav?
Yeah.
Kov or Pav?
I think it was Kov.
The guy we liked.
Yeah.
The one who seemed alright.
You liked. I didn't care for him.
Okay, I liked him.
You reminded me of that. Oh God, what are the poop people? They don't have a name. The hierarchy, I think.
Oh.
Voyager.
Yes,
just a dopey idiot. Don't like him.
The poop people.
Do I have anything else? I like it when we see T'Pol in her Vulcan robes.
Yeah.
She should dress like that all the time.
Or at least more than she does.
You know what I was hoping would happen in this episode? That she would get kicked out of the Vulcan thing, and then she would say, you know what? You can't fire me. I quit. And then she goes to Archer and is like, I want to join Starfleet and get one of those fancy jumpsuits of yours. And Archer's like, here
with
you go.
Pockets.
Put it
so
on,
many
lady.
Pockets.
With pockets.
She would keep losing stuff at first, though. It's like, I literally never... The robes didn't have pockets either. You don't understand. It's like, I don't know what to do.
Carry a purse.
Nope. That's what those jumpsuits are. They're making up for centuries of women having insufficient pockets.
You know who probably has pockets? Andorians. I don't know.
It's
Sure.
where they keep all their fucking audacity.
They definitely...
Oh, I love that. That's good. Let's switch over to Ceasefire. Here we are, we're doing the thing. The Andorians and the Vulcans are butting heads over this planet. The Andorians call it Waitan, and the Vulcans call it Pon Mokar. And that doesn't come up an awful lot.
Butting heads, that's the Telosians.
And they both like to occupy this place, but they fucking hate each other. And our boy Shran decides, let's get Archer involved. He's the most biased man I know. This might work in our favor. So when Archer and T'Pol get there, Shran's sexy Lieutenant Tara, love this bitch, black bags them just for fun. And Shran lays out his demands. He says, I want to see Ambassador Soval. We're going to discuss the Vulcans leaving this planet. We have these random Vulcan hostages. What do we want to do with all of this, Archer? So they get rid of one hostage.
They're not hostages, Ames. They're prisoners of war.
They can be two things.
Or whatever
like
whatever he says. I feel like he tries to suggest that they're not hostages.
Yes,
he does, yeah.
Well, they're at a party. We're having tea. So somehow,
crumpets.
Soval keeps in character and doesn't laugh in Archer's face when Archer tells him about their plans for this trip and this negotiation thing with Shran. And somehow, he also agrees to go with them because, I don't know, he loves getting black-bagged or something. I'm going to skip ahead because there's a lot of just kind of filler stuff this episode. On our way down to planet, someone shoots down the shuttle pod.
Oh no!
Who could it have been?
Definitely that chick, right?
There's a mystery afoot. Oh wait, it's definitely Tara. Damn it.
Like, obviously, you know?
because they just love killing Vulcans or something. So Saval gets shot a little bit, and Archer manages to disarm all the Andorians without killing anyone, ever. Shran is very disappointed in Terra and gives her a spanking, but she likes it. And then Archer establishes some kind of a ceasefire, because he's the only thing Starfleet has that's anything adjacent to a diplomat, which is fucking sad to the end.
Okay, so I established why he's a successful diplomat.
Because he hates everyone?
Close. He is the most annoying man in space. And people sign treaties just so he will go away.
Yes!
It's like, they like, after he left the room at one point, Shran and Saval looked at each other like, what did I tell you? But Deedly Bob's up, so you can't see this at home. People's like, I told you. It's like, fine.
If he shows me one more clip of water polo, I will airlock myself.
We will sign this, and then we will get light years away from that man.
I have two overarching thoughts about this episode. The first one is
Overarching?
Say what you will about this show, but they know how to stack a cast.
Yeah.
True.
She was stacked all right.
She's so fucking good.
We have fucking Combs.
Yep.
Plaxton.
Yep.
And Kevon.
And Kevon shows up.
Not nearly enough of Christopher Shea.
The split second he appeared on screen, we're both like, wait a minute.
Chris is like, hey, do we? I was like, is that Kevon? Yeah.
I want, because I knew he was going to show up. I'm like, where is he? Where is he? No, that's not him. I would recognize him if he were him. Where the fuck? Oh,
you really would too, because he's a weird looking fucker.
Just
apparently.
on a view screen? Come on. I need more of this guy.
Yeah, not to mention, we get a little view of Von Armstrong.
A little bit.
And Gary Graham as Saval is really good. And
Which I realized we never mentioned since we've seen him in this. We said ages back in Voyager that we would be seeing him, because he appears as that shitty Ocampa that one time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, he was Tanis.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
Who, Kevon?
No, Saval. The Vulcan. The apparently only ambassador Vulcan has, aside from Data's mom, because he was the ambassador to Earth, but now he's dealing with this. It's like, what? How would you...
Sometimes you gotta wear a lot of hats,
Vulcan hats. Cover those ears.
Anyway, and then the other thought I had about this episode is, holy timely allegory, Batman. Jesus, like...
We need Archer, apparently.
Oh, apparently, we need Archer to head over to Gaza, because he'll get that shit straightened out.
Yeah, just yell at everyone until they stop.
What did I say? I was like, yeah, okay, Israel. Or something. I was like, huh.
Yeah, no, I again, like you said, he just kept showing us clips of water polo.
Yeah, I'll also say, I know we've seen Andorians twice before in Andorian Incident and Shadows of Pajem. It apparently took a Susie Plaxton for me to give a shit about the Andorians, because I enjoyed them in this.
Yeah.
And I think it was mostly because of her, because she's great.
Oh, she's the best.
She is great.
I don't, because she's the only female Andorian in this episode.
And
She's so tall.
You can tell because her shirt is really low cut.
Yes.
Also, the seat sniffer wasn't in this one.
I don't think
Good.
so.
We never see him again.
Good.
Good. So
Yeah.
his absence made it better.
He fell into a giant garbage disposal.
Right where he fucking belongs.
But, and I don't think they've done this, at least not based on what I've seen, but I kind of wish they'd run with the idea that, like, the women are always significantly taller than the men in Andorian culture.
Oh, I'd love that. Because I know, like, Susie Plaxton made such a great Klingon, because she could stare eye to eye with Dorn.
Yeah, well, that's just funny. It's just Combs having to glare up at her.
I did always like that.
Yeah.
But even, most of the other guys, too, because probably they've been cast against Combs specifically, were closer to his height, so she just towers over all the guys.
That's alright, we love a short king.
My very first thought when this episode starts and they're talking about this planet and there's like, oh, this is the Andorian name for it, this is the Vulcan name for it. I like stopped. I was like, all right, I'm going to tally how often they call it each thing.
Yeah?
And the answer is they call it Pan Makar more than they call it Wei-Tan because the Vulcans talk more.
That sounds about right.
Archer calls it Pan Makar when he's talking to T'Pol, and he calls it Pan Makar when he's making a log, and then never uses the name of the planet again. And then from then on, you only hear Andorians call it Wei-Tan, and Vulcans call it Pan Makar. Because I was thinking to myself, there's a good episode, actually there's a whole good giant fucking season of The Expanse, where there's this planet that the people who inhabit it call it Eyeless, and the people who want it for, I forget the colonizing group. They want to call it New Terra. And it's always really, really telling when they're calling it of what side you kind of belong on.
Yeah. Look, even if I'm an evil colonizing... Well, I don't know if they're evil. I assume they are, but don't call a planet New Terra. That's just lazy. Fucking be more creative, douchebags.
Yeah, really, it's already got fucked up when the Americas named when America named everything after everything back home.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta...
And also 8,705 Springfields.
Well, I figure that's just because as people moved westward, they just named shit after the place they had lived previously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
New York.
New New York.
Admittedly, too, it was also, they were naming these places back before instant communication, so it was a little less awkward.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's not much to this.
My synopsis was 3 bullet points, so the
It's-
other one was 8.
It's straightforward and competent, and we've seen it before. I don't remember where, but trips, move us between them. We've seen that before, I'm almost certain, at some point. I'm sure the Enterprise D did that at some stage, or Voyager did it at some stage, or something.
The Voyager?
I can't think of it, but I also I tuned out whenever they went up to the ships, except when Christopher Shea was on screen, because there was nothing really going on. Trip was better than he was during the 7th, when being in command seemed to make him piss himself.
Yeah. And I feel like this was technically a much touchier situation. There, he just had to decide if people should get an injection that makes them poop.
Always be pooping.
Easier call than dealing with intergalactic politics.
Always be pooping. Coffee's for poopers.
Nice.
There was one moment where, so Archer sneaks up on that one Andorian, and sadly does not punch him square in the ass, but spins him around and punches him in the head. It just would have been funny. But he gets his gun from him, and he flings it over, a parapet. And at first, I thought, I was like, John, you just gave your gun to Soval! Take the gun!
He literally was yelling at the TV.
I thought I had that too. But then he had another gun.
Well, I think Caitlin realized he'd thrown it down so he could climb down still.
At least I think.
No. When he was on top of the thing.
He still had one when he was up on the parapet.
Yeah, so I think there must have been 2 guns or something up there, because he threw one of them over the edge, but then when he was climbing down...
Oh, he had one
he had one climbing down. So I was like,
I did not see 2 guns. So
object permanence.
At first, I thought he just had no gun, got a gun, and immediately threw it away.
Oh, great, a gun! Fling.
Yeah, I think he had no
gun.
No
one can have gun.
Got a gun, threw it away, was like, oh shit, oh wait, no, there's another gun on the floor or something.
Also, almost foiled by bad masonry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What happened?
That building that
was
collapsing.
Fell through the...
Which gave Susie Plaxton her opening to kick his ass for a while.
Oh, true. Yeah, that fight choreo, as much as I loved, because I could tell there were a lot more moments where it was actually Plaxton and Bakula. I'm like, okay, cool, I can see that it's actually them. But it's so highly choreographed that I could see, okay, this is when you do a little roll. This is when you do with this.
It was obviously staged, but at least it was staged well.
I mean...
I remember a few weeks ago when Trip got beat with a stick, and it was the most unconvincing stick. This was a little over the top, but it was just competent.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing, though. Star Trek has a storied history of really goofy fight scenes.
Yeah, they're not great.
Yeah, but I think in Enterprise, they're no longer trying for goofy fight scenes.
Oh, I don't think they have been trying for those for a while, but they've still kept happening.
Yeah.
Except for that time The Rock was on.
Maybe you'll know, Jake, because for the life of me...
fabulous.
Yep.
Couldn't remember, but there's the scene where he first has, given his gun to Soval, and he's kind of skittering, a little crab walk at one point. He does a pointless combat roll. Mm-hmm. What movie? Is it one of the Austin Powers movies where he does a pointless combat roll at some point?
That's from Galaxy Quest.
Thank you. Oh, it was driving me nuts.
Yeah, because
Tim Allen does a combat roll and everybody else just walks.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, see, he got his shirt off again.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was going crazy. But yeah, he did one of those at one point. And I was like, John, come on, man.
Yeah.
Hello, John.
Yeah, that's the thing now. When I get annoyed with him, he's John. Was Mayweather in this episode? Yeah, he was piloting.
He was flying the ship barely.
Hoshi got to be backup science officer again for some reason. Because apparently she is a linguist and a... whatever
secretary.
And a gentlewoman.
Well, and whatever you have to be to know how to fine-tune sensors.
Yeah.
Pineapple
She's good
fetcher.
at operating the sensors. I guess.
Really good at it, yeah. She's
They
in the
really,
wrong field.
You know, they really didn't need a pilot as a main character. They really just needed someone to operate the sensors.
Oh, God.
We got some really good Sovalisms here. Earlier in the episode, it's, I don't consider your presence here an asset.
That was a good line.
And then his parting line, Captain, your presence here has not been overly meddlesome. And
once.
that is the highest compliment you can get from a Vulcan.
If you're Archer.
I aspire to that. I did like the exchange. What is their obsession with our ears?
That was cute.
Yeah.
I think they're envious.
Yeah.
I'm a little envious.
Yeah,
I like the weird
that
ears.
scene actually between T'Pol and Sova was pretty good, where he kept being like, that's an emotion. You're doing an emotion now.
But except he was wrong. He was like, yes, arrogance, an emotion. And I'm like, that's not a fucking emotion. That's a character trait, you dumb bitch.
That is, I should point out, the default character trait of a lot of Vulcans.
Yeah, also that. Like, fuck me. That really annoyed me.
But yeah,
Look.
like basically telling to Paul, like, yeah, you would be a fucking ambassador by now if you weren't stuck on that dinky little ship.
She's like, listen, I'm the only thing keeping that dinky little ship together.
Yeah, how many times they'd have been dead by now?
I gave Archer this giant book of how to talk to Vulcans, and he didn't read a word of it.
He glanced at it.
I will, like, he should have read that, but I will admit, a day and a half is not enough time to read a 1,200-page treatise.
Yeah, what is this, a fucking
How's
college
the computer
course?
distill it?
Yeah, ChatGPT. Explain.
As we said a few
summarize
weeks
this
ago, it was lost during World War III.
ChatGPT was?
Yeah, Jake mentioned
Oh, I missed
ChatGPT, and I
this.
said it was lost during the Third World War.
Oh, Jesus. You know, we get to see, which I believe the first time, is an Andorian ship.
No.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Kind of a whaley. look
Yeah, they're
to it.
cute.
Yeah, they're
Remember
kinda
I remember
more
saying
vertical.
that kind of thing when we talked about them in one of our blogtivities.
Yeah.
Links below.
Yeah.
There's usually not links below. Find it yourself.
I remember sometimes.
Yeah, the other thing that I liked is, so, we have this planet, whatever it's called, by whatever people, and the Vulcans are like, oh yeah, we had to take it back because we think they were, like, installing some kind of, like, militaristic tactical base or something.
Yeah.
And we never prove or disprove that is true, and
Yeah,
I like
that's-
that they didn't.
Yeah, like, just, that doesn't need to be made explicit.
Yeah, it would be like during the 7th again, when we learned, oh, this guy definitely was selling those covert bullshit, and
Yeah.
he's a bad guy after all.
Yeah, better to leave it, because that's not the point. The point is, let's get these people to talk, not who's right.
The point is, Andorians have this faction that really doesn't give a shit about what Tran says.
True.
And that's fun.
I will say, though, to Tripp's point, it is a little different than if the Klingons set up on Pluto, because this planet isn't in Vulcan's solar system. It'd be like if the Klingons set up a colony on Alpha Centauri. That's the nearest star, right?
Sure.
To us?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's where,
Cochrane.
Cochrane went, yeah.
That's where he goes to retire.
And gets sucked off for life by an energy being?
No,
He doesn't make it.
He never arrived.
No, I think he lived there for a little bit.
Oh, he didn't
then
arrive.
Oh.
Then he goes off
then
from
then
there.
he left to get sucked off by an energy being?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Because, well,
I heard he arrives over and over again.
I don't know if they... Because so when he's first introduced in TOS, he's described as Zephyr Cochrane of Alpha Centauri. So people have justified that by being, well, he moved there
Yeah,
later.
there's a book that kind of that I just finished that kind of establishes entirely, because this came out before First Contact, so it's just like, this is probably what happened, only to be retconned later by First Contact. But yeah, he went and lived on Alpha Centauri for a while until he learned that there were people after him, and he went to just go basically sacrifice himself in space. But then the companion found him, and he decided to live.
Mm-hmm.
And their relationship between him and companion is very cute.
Zephram was, what, 17 now, I think people have said? For him to be the age he is in First Contact?
Oh, I don't know.
It's hard to say. People looked older back then.
True. No, I think someone said, yeah, like, for him to be the age he's supposed to be in First Contact, he has been born by now, and I think might be a teenager.
Oh, you mean now he's
Like
17?
in 2024.
Yeah, like Zephram Cochrane's a Zoomer.
Oh.
He's on the TikTok.
Oh, he loves to talk.
Plays a lot of Roblox and Minecraft.
Kind of makes you wonder why he's all into that old music, though, doesn't it? Like, it makes sense that he likes the music that he listens to in First Contact, when First Contact came out, but it's like...
yeah, that's
That's
true.
He's 17 now. I mean, not that we knew, like,
because the songs haven't
dubstep
been
or
written
whatever.
yet.
Yeah, it's funny, you know?
Well, it's like, actually, I said
He's
this
listening to old man dad rock, even though...
in the last episode we were talking about, Tripp's choice in movie, discussing the fact that, like,
oh my god.
no art exists after the date the episode was made in real life.
It's so stupid. Like, you could just make up names. Like, it didn't have to be some Bela Lugosi shit, and we didn't see any of the movie. It wasn't like they had to find one that was, like, not copyrighted.
Yeah,
but it had to evoke the kind of feeling that the movie that exists evokes.
But I don't know
I have
about...
no idea what I just said.
I'm not familiar with that film.
Yeah, I've never
so,
heard
like,
of it.
it didn't evoke anything for me. I've never even heard of it.
That's what I mean. They could have, like, since we don't see it anyway, they could have named... Even if they didn't want to make one up, they could have named a movie people fucking know. I'm sure some people know that movie, but, like, of all the Bela Lugosi movies, like...
How about Dracula? Heard of that one.
Anyway, point is, it would have made a lot more sense for Zephram Cochrane to be really into the Beastie Boys.
Yes. that is actually very true.
That's funny. That's pretty funny.
Because that would have been his dad's music.
Classical.
Mm-hmm.
We're now going to move on to our blogtivity.
our
What a
segues
segue.
just keep getting...
That's a good one, guys. All right, so when I was putting together our character spotlights, and we covered all the main characters from the Next Generation, and a couple of the more minor characters that you see, enough that we were able to put a blogtivity together about them. Then I hit Ro Laren and thought, there are not enough things that Ro Laren does to make a full post out of this. Also, if we're including Ro, we've got to include Tasha, but I've already made the schedule, so there's nowhere to put Tasha. So, everyone, welcome to our Battle Royale. Tasha Yar versus Ro Laren. One may enter, one may not enter. Boo! That's not how that goes at all.
Boo, 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 boo.
So what I've done is I've set up a competition between Tasha and Laren, in which we're going to kind of like go through individual areas of thing and determine who wins in each area, so that by the end we can have our definitive answer of which character is the badass bitch of the Next Generation.
I think it's fair to say that, unlike our past TNG discussions, we have no choice but to bring up Picard.
Definitely.
Sure.
So,
at least in one element.
Yeah, so if you really want to go into Picard completely blind, turn off now. See you next week. We'll be watching.
Nobody
I don't
should
know
go
what.
into Picard dry, though.
Conversely, don't watch Picard.
Yeah, don't watch Picard.
Let us spoil Picard for you.
Yeah, it's
Watch
just
Picard when we watch it, so you don't have to rewatch it later, and then we can all have some good laughs.
Ro dies.
Spoilers.
Bum, 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 bum,
To be fair, you can name any fucking character from TNG and say they die in Picard, because they usually do.
What? No, everybody in Picard?
Ton of characters.
any
a ton of
TNG?
non-major.
Non-major.
If someone shows up from TNG that wasn't in the opening fucking credits, they're probably gonna fucking die.
In fact, they might come back to life.
Did Barclay
Twice.
Did Barclay show up?
No.
No, he didn't show
How
up.
do you know that Barclay? Oh, right, well,
because
he's a piece of shit now.
because
Sorry,
he never
yeah.
would. You'd have to recast him, which
What's his
that's
name?
fine.
Dwight Schrute?
Dwight Schultz.
Dwight Schultz? Whatever.
Right, we're not talking
Douchebag.
Dwight Schultz today. We're talking.
Oh my
Sean
god, but we're
Forbes
gonna
and
have
Denise
to
Crosby.
eventually, aren't we?
No, I'm not talking Picard Barclay.
Oh.
He's not that important.
He's in Voyager more than he's in TNG, I think.
Yeah.
Or at least as much.
All right. So our first category is childhood history. Who has the more, I don't know, interesting or
Traumatic.
Definitely
Well,
traumatic.
Ro has the more traumatic history, right?
Does she?
Didn't she?
She had to watch her
Oh,
dad
wait,
get
my
tortured
god,
to
I
death.
forgot!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
how do we even compare
Right?
gang rapes, or rape gangs?
Yeah, it's not
Fuck.
gang rapes, rape
Well,
gangs.
gang
so.
rapes by rape gangs.
I mean,
we don't know-
probably.
We don't know.
I mean, I assume so.
Look, from
all
a
we know is that she was running from them and
Constantly.
she had a cat.
Oh, I didn't know she had a cat.
Oh yeah, she did. I forgot about that.
And Ro, of course, like watched her own dad be like murdered.
I mean,
And,
rape
like,
gangs.
rape
Oh,
gangs.
God.
And like beaten by the Cardis, I guess.
from like a real world perspective, I find Yar's much more upsetting because why did you write that, guys?
Yeah, but the term rape gangs
Came
like,
up
adds...
way too much.
No, it's not
So
even that. It's just that
much.
it adds like it almost makes it funny, and I don't want to laugh about rape gangs, but you can't say rape gangs over and over again.
Yeah, it's just
You've said it like 30 times.
I know, and it's getting ridiculous, right?
But here's the other thing.
Yeah. Hit me
Now,
with it.
although they did talk a lot about rape gangs
So
in the
much.
show, we know that Bajoran women and young women
Oh God,
were
yeah.
regularly
oh god.
Swept into Gold Ducat's
swept
bed.
into Gul Dukat's harem, and I'm
Mm.
assuming other gulls as well were
Yeah.
part of that whole thing. So,
Do you think when they're circling potential Bajoran women to molest, they're like mine, mine,
Oh,
because they're a bunch of
Because they're
gulls?
gulls. God damn it.
Oh.
All right, guys. I've got the
I'm
tiebreaker
so
right here.
Sad that it took me this long to think of that.
I don't. And here's the thing. I'm not quite sure if we're saying who has the better like backstory for a show, perhaps. And this one, let's discuss if this sways it in either direction. Because Ro gets a second childhood
Oh,
in
yeah.
Rascals.
No,
Ro.
Ro.
Put
Oh,
on the
yeah.
Ro side.
God, Jake.
sorry, I couldn't see what was going on.
Yeah, we're putting post-it notes on a thing just so we can document who gets which points.
That's true.
So the thing too now with pre-Enterprise backstory, I guess kind of with both of them, we don't know loads.
Whoa! We're still on childhood history.
Oh, we are, okay.
Yeah.
We need to determine who
Well,
wins.
okay, I'm gonna make the case right now that regardless of rape gangs, Ro should win on this, and it's not about who has the more traumatic background, who has the more interesting background. Because here's the thing: Yar's background, it's mentioned one time during Where No One Has Gone Before. That's where we see her with the kitty and the rape gangs.
It's mentioned during the Naked Time.
It's mentioned a few times. But we only really get backstory on it in Legacy after she's long dead. That's the only backstory we get. Whereas with Ro Laram, they built an entire fucking television series to further explore her backstory.
True.
Oh wow! That's a very good point.
Right? Like the
Because
entire
the whole Kardashian occupation.
basis of DS9 is established to flesh out more of Ro's story.
Remind me which came first, Ensign Ro or
The Wounded?
the Wounded. The Maxwell.
I'm pretty sure
I will check
The
now.
Wounded
Thank you,
may
Chris.
have come first. I can't remember, but the Bajorans were introduced in Ensign Ro.
Okay.
The Cardassians might have, because I'm pretty sure Wounded came first because they were trying to chase down Maxwell. Like that was the plot of that.
But it wasn't because of Bajorans or anything.
I think the Cardassians were introduced in The Wounded, and the Bajorans were introduced in Ensign Ro.
So they were really close to each other.
Oh, were they? Well, that's good.
Ensign Ro aired 7th October 91. Oh, Ensign Ro came first. The Wounded.
Oh, really?
No, sorry, second. 28th January
Math
91.
is hard.
Well, I saw January and thought January was after October, but when you work at a school, the start of the year is September, so...
September.
So yes, The Wounded came first, January 91, Ensign Ro was October 91.
But I
So
would
the
still
next
say
season.
that, like, the Bajorans are the more important.
That's a good point,
Factor.
and I like that. And also, Legacy isn't even a good episode, so...
It's fine.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
guess...
Are we in agreement? Ro wins childhood history.
Jake just nailed it for that, yeah.
Jake, give us a little star or winner or something on our board.
Little smiley,
Smiley,
face.
a little sad face, because it's such a sad story. It looks just like Ro.
I don't know why I drew N and
What's up with its eyes?
I don't know.
She got, it's eyelashes. She got
Yeah.
eyelashes.
Yeah. Originally, Bajorans were supposed to have ridged eyelashes. Then they said that's too hard. Let's just make it the bridge of the nose.
Okay, pre-Enterprise backstory. Now, this is interesting. So this is like their adulthood, but before the post-childhood, pre-being on board the Enterprise.
Yeah, like immediately before the Enterprise. It's the stuff that Picard talks to them about.
I genuinely don't remember anything for either of them.
Well,
Ro was in
Ro was in jail.
Yeah,
she was in jail for insubordination.
Mm-hmm.
She was in jail for getting 8 crewmen killed for disobeying an order.
Oh, right.
Oh, so not just...
Yeah.
Nice job, Nick Ro Carno.
I definitely buried the lead on that one. I forgot about the deaths. That's true. So yeah, she's got a very tragic backstory. And Yar has a backstory that I'm pretty sure only comes up in...
The finale?
Did it come up in All Good Things?
It came up in Legacy.
Oh, I thought it came up in All Good Things.
Yeah, so it comes up in Legacy. Picard is talking with Yar's sister, Ishara, I think. And he tells her, yes, the reason I asked specifically to have Yar on board my ship was because I saw her rescuing a colonist from a Carnelian minefield and thought, I need that person on my ship.
Okay.
I think Ro wins again.
Ro wins again.
That's my...
She got people killed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I gotta give this one to Yar.
Really?
Because she didn't get people killed.
Yeah, she saved people. That seems better.
If Picard takes an interest in you, it's good. Picard's interest in Ro didn't begin until like the end of Ensign Ro.
Well, yeah, that's because
she needed to prove something.
And Picard's got this weird thing about Bajor and Bajorans. I don't know.
Really?
Because her, Cedo, Jaxa, Bajor in general, like, he's there in the premiere of DS9. I mean, I'd really quite like them to join the Federation, you know. And Ben's just like, fuck you, Locutus.
Fuck you and fuck the Bajorans.
He's got this weird, like, I don't know, like, he almost wants to be Bajor's dad as much as Gul Dukat, but in a Federation way.
Oh, not in the hot way. Call him Daddy.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, so we were saying Yar then for this. We like Yar.
I like Yar.
Yeah, let's go with
Anybody
Yar.
want to fight for Ro for backstory?
You were the one that wanted to fight for.
I don't need to fight.
I think they both suck. Go ahead.
Okay. That's a better smiley face.
Oh, hi, White Cat. Have you come to bite me?
Hi, Jim.
No, he's
friends.
Who is their friend?
Data is friends with Yar.
Well, Data, I'm going to bring up in a different category.
Well, me too, but I would say that they're
Still
friends. Before.
That's true. They are friends. Like, actually, Yar does an interesting thing in that when she delivers her eulogy for herself, weird Yar, she basically goes through and talks about her friendship with everybody. And so, yeah, that's true. Everybody does come up, including Wesley, which is strange.
Remember that time I told you why drugs are great, kiddo?
Yeah, I mean, Ro, on the other hand, doesn't really seem to
have friends.
She eventually befriends those people in the Maquis.
Yeah, she's kind of friends with Guinan.
Everyone's friends with Guinan.
Like, that's the thing. That's the thing I wanted to bring up about Ro and friends is that when Guinan says,
Yar never met Guinan.
I want to be her friend, you know that you're something special.
Actually, Yar did meet Guinan.
Briefly.
In yesterday's
in an alternate
and Guinan was like, go get yourself killed.
Yeah, Guinan tried to have her killed.
But for Yar, I think Yar has a much more interesting friend.
Mr. Worf.
Mr. Worf. Because
they are
Worf,
buddies.
Like, they play Parisi squares together. Worf bets on her for that martial arts competition. They're always kind of like doing their security thing together because Worf doesn't exactly have a position on the ship. He's just kind of there to be Yar's friend.
Yeah.
And I always kind of liked whenever they did something together. I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
And, like, one of the things that I think is that just generally Worf and Yar were kind of redundant
absolutely.
in the crew.
Yeah.
And it never made a lot of sense for them both to be there.
My favorite thing is in All Good Things when Picard is traveling through time and enterprises and shit. And he's in the old Enterprise, the Encounter at Farpoint Enterprise.
He's giving Worf orders.
Worf, do this thing. And Yar's like, that's my job? Am I not your security officer anymore? And he's like, oh, right. I totally forgot you were a thing. Because Worf is so much better.
And you've been dead for 6 years from my perspective. I mean, not that.
Mustn't break the temporal prime directive.
Too late.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give friendships to Yar.
I don't know. I think the quality in Guinan makes it pretty close, though.
I mean, Guinan is a high quality friend.
But when do they ever hang out aside from Rascals?
Yeah, Ensign Ro they hung out.
Guinan's the one that basically talks her into telling Picard the truth about the secret mission.
Should rewatch Ensign Ro.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
I feel like Guinan's more of like a mentor to Ro, though.
Well, everyone
is a mentor to everyone.
Yeah. Well, and also like because like you could say the same about Captain Picard. Like
I don't see anyone saying that Captain Picard is friends with any of these
no,
people.
no, he's not. but he is like a father figure for Ro in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he doesn't join their poker games because you're my children.
Yeah, no, like as far as space dads go, like Picard is very Victorian and distant. Sisko is the space dad that plays PlayStation with you.
Oh, that's cute.
And also buys you drugs.
Space dad, why?
Well, no, you know what he's the space dad that, like, buys beer. It's like, all right, fine, but you're all staying here so I can make sure you're not out there being stupid.
Oh, it's my mom.
Especially with some filthy Ferengi.
All right, so anybody want to fight for Ro, or are we good?
I thought Guinan was gonna push it over the top.
I mean, Guinan.
I'll give it to Yar.
She's got a good two for going, is the thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because she's also got Troy. Like she borrows clothes from Troy in Naked Now.
They would have been doing yoga together if the Naked Now.
I never remember which one's the TOS one.
Naked
TNG.
Now
Naked
is
Time
TNG.
is TOS. The Naked Now is TNG.
Yeah, I mean the thing is just like Ro is not
friendly.
Yeah, exactly. No. She's just kind of bitchy to everybody. So
I get it though.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I think that's a good quality of Ro. But if we're specifically judging them on their friends, I'm going to say
Yar. Yeah.
Anybody care to fight?
No. Yar. Narp.
All right.
Our next category is pets.
Yes.
Yar apparently had a cat.
Yar once, she told a kitty to run from the rape gang.
Did Ro have pets?
There were cats in the rape gang as well.
I'm not aware of Ro having mentioned a pet.
And we're not aware.
All cats are rapists.
We have no evidence of Ro having pets. Otherwise, the show would have shown us, as it usually does. So I think this one is flat. Yar had a kitty.
Well, honestly, thank God Ro didn't have any fucking pets. Look what they did to her fucking dad. What do you think they would have done to her dog?
Mm-hmm. No, I think Yar wins by default.
Yes.
Yeah. The two greatest words in the English language.
Default. All right.
Here we go. My favorite category.
Really, this is.
Let's tell the audience what it is because they can't see.
It's banging. It's who banged who.
Romantic interests.
Yar wins.
Yar banged Data. Ro banged Riker.
But neither of them knew who they were at the time, so that's weird and creepy.
But wait, I have a tiebreaker when we get to it.
Oh, okay.
So we got Data. We're putting the sticker up on the board, and we got Riker. Amnesiac Riker. Amnesiac Riker and drunk Data. But
Yar also has Castillo.
Hey, Castillo.
Oh, that's
who's this?
Right.
Her purest boyfriend from the Enterprise C.
Who eats pieces of shit for breakfast.
Oh, Tasha Yar's?
Yeah, Tasha.
Yeah, that's right. I liked him.
He was great.
He was great.
Yeah.
So... The thing is, I really like Riker, but
But
it
also
just seems like Yar bangs a lot more than.
Well,
she also did bang half the ship in the Naked Now.
Yeah,
but I think
true.
there was.
Like Data was.
She did?
Yes.
Yeah, Data was like the only one left.
Okay, I hope we talked about this at the time, but I don't feel like someone who was fucking running from rape gangs would be like, I'm gonna fuck everybody.
We definitely talked about that.
Good, because what the fuck, the writers of TN fucking G.
Again, I think Yar wins because of all the the only kind of... So again, we've got drunk Data. Riker and Ro were both amnesiacs, which is weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Castillo was like two adults who knew who they were, what was going on, it was consensual. That wins.
Yeah. We do see Ro kiss Picard in Preemptive Strike, but that was as a ruse, so that they'd blend in the bar.
I completely forgot about that.
I bet fucking Jean-Luc came up with that. You know what will really throw them off, Ro Laren? If we make out.
I wasn't expecting the board to be going so heavy on Yar, but don't worry, I think it'll turn around.
The last two have been defaults, really.
Yeah.
What the last two?
So we're giving this
pets and romantic interest.
No, romantic. This isn't default. Castillo, I think, is a meaningful relationship.
So we're giving it to Yar. Is that the case?
Give it to Yar.
Well, it is not. I guess not. That's not meaningful, but I feel like the one we have for Ro, because of its very nature, doesn't count. Like it might as well be non-existent, like Kitty. Or her lack of any kind of pet.
Lack of Kitty.
All right, so
now we're getting to the interesting stuff, where I think they're going to have much more like philosophical conversations because our next category is fighting prowess. When do we see our characters fight?
Well, Yar fights that lady in that code of honor.
That was the first thing I thought, and that made me sad.
And that was terrible. I mean, she did win the fight.
In really a very, dangerous, difficult one with all the weird poisoned spiked gloves and shit.
But she did also get her ass kicked by a puddle of sludge.
Oh no, she totally lost. That was in Skin of Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she sure did.
Is that a fight? That's more like she was just assassinated.
Yeah, it wasn't a fair fight.
Sometimes you can
Like
do
Worf in the
everything right
Barrel.
and still lose.
Yes.
Or you can just be Tasha Yar and get
But
fucked by a puddle.
so calling it a fight is a kind of a technicality because she didn't stand a chance. Nobody did.
Did she have any other big
I know
fisticuffs?
early in Code of Honor, she threw Lutan's first lieutenant over her shoulder.
Good for her.
And then just to show off the holodeck or something, they go in, she puts on some fighting robes and beats up a holodeck thing to show off.
I mean, here's the thing. In her very small set of fights, she proportionally does better than Worf does in his TNG fights.
Against Blue Barrels.
Because Worf
what
was...
about Skeletor?
That's true. That's true.
Curse you, He-Man!
Okay, so now Ro. Who does Ro fight? What do we got here? Oh yeah, the next phase she beats that Romulan up, kicks him out of the ship.
She throws him through a wall into space.
That's pretty
That's
badass.
pretty cool. Yeah.
I love that for Ro.
She fights with Riker over her earring.
Well, that's not a physical.
Yeah, we're talking fights in the sense.
I know what we're talking about. I just don't have anything to contribute.
Yeah, that was the one that I could think of for Ro. Did you guys have other thoughts of when Ro is kind of a physical fighter? She jumps on a bed with Guinan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't really...
Does Baby Ro beat up any Ferengi?
She might.
She only sticks a communicator on one of their backs, and that's it.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
I guess it's not really a fight, but she does try to kill the aliens that are in
Disaster? No, Power Play.
Power Play.
I'm gonna bring that up for a different category though.
Yeah, I can't really think. I mean, I don't know. For me, I think kicking a Romulan out of the ship into space.
That's just so cool.
That's very cool. It's way cooler than whatever the Code of Honor was.
Yeah.
The poisoned Glaven.
Yeah.
Glaven.
I do give Yar credit for, knowing the scheme enough that she didn't get Yarina killed.
That's true.
That seemed nice of her.
But still, there's nothing from Code of Honor is redeeming in any way.
That's what I was thinking. It's like I don't want to give anything credit from that fucking
I'm giving
terrible
this
episode.
one. I think this
let's give it a Ro.
This is a
Kick a Romulan into space.
All right.
When do we see these characters in command? And the answer is pretty much
Yar never really.
Whenever they have the option, they don't take it, and that's the thing I wanted to bring up for this category.
Now, here's the thing, though. I would argue that in Disaster, Ro does kind of take command because
Troy sucks.
Because Troy wasn't, and it's really it's only later in the episode that Troy asserts herself in a way And here's the thing, I still say that Ro was right to wanna separate the ship, and a good commander would have made that decision.
Yeah. That was what Troy eventually learned in Thine Own Self.
Self.
Go sacrifice Geordi.
Yeah, send Geordi to his death. And that was the decision that Ro was making in separating the ship. It worked out. It turned out Geordi didn't have to die, or in that case it would have been Data and Riker that got blowed up along with anybody else down there.
Probably a lot of people.
Yeah. Geordi would have been okay because he was in the shuttle.
I thought killing Geordi would have been okay. I was like, wow.
no. Yeah. But yeah, Riker and Data definitely would have got blowed up.
The instance I could think of for Yar when she really should have taken command was in Angel 1. The woman-led planet where when she and Troy go down there, it's understood, hey, you two will be the ones in charge. And then Riker strolls in, half erect already, ready to go.
With no fucking beard, like a dumb bitch.
And just walks all over the fucking planet and takes charge. And you're like, but We had Yar ready to do a thing.
Yeah.
God damn it.
But she
like the Mayweather of the show, or?
She kind of was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to give this to Ro myself. Because I don't even remember that happening in Angel 1.
It's because nothing came of it. It's because she should have been in command, but instead Riker had a peck out.
I guess I would also say Ro.
Yeah, let's give it to Ro.
Yeah. And since we did already say that we were going to bring up Picard stuff, she is a commander.
Oh, yeah.
In Picard.
Oh, yeah.
What's that episode called? Imposters.
I'm saving it.
You're saving what? You're angry at Picard?
So mad.
You're starting to sound like Joe Pesci in Home Alone.
Yeah, I like it. Let's give it to Ro.
Yeah.
Our next category is ethical stands.
Ro.
We know Yar hates drugs.
Yes. From Symbiosis. But Tasha... Yeah, which is mostly... It's not even her ethical stand. It's Nancy Reagan's forcing this stuff into her mouth.
Now, Ro betrays the Federation on ethical grounds.
Mm-hmm. Actually, no. You know what? Yar. I'm giving it to Yar.
Really?
Whoa, you anti-Maquis now?
No.
But your boy Eddington.
No, because you know what? She fucking goes back to Starfleet, doesn't she?
Oh my god, she does! I didn't think of that!
Oh, you're saying Picard ruined Ro.
Whoa! Oh, that's interesting. I did not think of that.
Tasha sticks to her guns.
Pew pew.
Wow.
We don't know that because she got killed.
Still, you know what? She didn't get a chance.
No. Her ethical stand, she goes to save the Enterprise C.
Yeah.
You either die a
I mean,
hero
that wasn't
or
an
you live
ethical
long enough to become a
stand so
villain.
much as I'm dead anyway.
Well, fine.
I might as well go out with a
Fine,
blaze
that was
of
a
glory.
badass blaze of glory.
That was a blaze of glory.
But yeah, no. Picard Season 3 fucking ruined Ro.
Shit.
You're not wrong.
This is why I couldn't avoid bringing up Picard, because...
Let me think if there's any other ethical things.
Yeah, those were the ones I could think of.
Are we not talking about the earring thing? Is that an ethical stand? When do we get to talk about her earring?
In the last category.
But
Earring,
it's
personal style.
But that's not right. It's not. It's her religion, and she has to take shit for it. I feel like that needs to be brought up somewhere.
That is a good stand too, though.
Yeah, I think it's an ethical. Stand.
Sure, I'll put it there.
Thank you, Ames.
Because that's standing up for her culture.
Yeah. Her culture that the Federation did fucking nothing to help.
And
Cowards.
also, she does. Also in the episode Ensign Ro, after being counseled by Guinan, she does make the right decision when it came to telling Picard about that she was. So I don't know if everybody remembers, but
I don't.
But she was sent to the Enterprise ostensibly to be like the Bajoran advisor for Picard, but in reality, there was an admiral that had put her up basically to sell out the Bajorans and get a bunch of them killed.
That's right.
Yeah.
And she was, and it was like the Badmiral had worked out some deal with the Cardassians where this transport ship that was supposedly carrying Bajoran terrorists, but Picard set it up after Ro told him this, Picard set it up so that it was empty.
Yeah, that's right.
And the Badmiral was upset about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, this is a tough category.
I think even in spite of that, I'm still giving it to Ensign Ro myself because
she didn't just go back to Starfleet. She goes to brainwash camp and becomes an she went counter intel. It's wow, way to completely. What was that guy's name? Terry Metalis? I hate that guy. Fucking hate that guy.
Damn.
I despise him so much.
This is why maybe we just shouldn't be counting Picard, except for the 10th category.
That's the problem.
Yep.
That's the thing. We got to 10, and I was like, wait a minute. Oh, no. And this whole fucking tidal wave happened in my head.
Shit. We could call it a draw.
Works for me.
okay.
Fine. Strategy and tactics is the next category, which is kind of just a miscellaneous category of stuff they did. What other stuff they did you guys want to bring up?
When I want to talk about Ro's failed attempt to kill the power play aliens.
Yeah.
By zapping them with zapping juice.
It came pretty close to working, didn't it? It was like last minute one of them realized what was happening.
Yeah, like
Data stepped
away.
out of the. It was a very narrow beam, and
right.
Data just happened to step out of range. So it wasn't her fault that it failed.
That's what. Yeah, no.
Well, she should have hit the button earlier.
Yeah.
She just didn't have the timing. That's a good one.
I'm gonna throw out. The other thing, the problem with Yar is there's like so few
things she does.
She does like the things that you remember are banging Data.
Yep.
Fighting that woman.
Yep.
Killed by a puddle.
Killed in the most stupid way possible.
She had a pretty decent scene with Picard when she thought Q was gonna kill her.
I thought her strategy of creating a Romulan character so that Denise Crosby could come back to the show was a pretty good one.
Getting bitched by Q. We're saying that's a Yar?
That's a Yar moment, because both times she's in the Q episodes, Q1 freezes her, and then second puts her in timeout with Picard.
Yeah, in the penalty box. They really almost never actually show tactical officers getting to be tactical. They're always just running the board, but the captain actually usually tells them what to do. Like, just in general, not just her. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, like, they never have, like, the tactical officers go, Captain, might I recommend pattern Zeta? And he goes, good call, Mr. Person.
Well, there's cause and effect, where it's like, oh, do we listen to Riker's stupid idea, or Data's also stupid idea?
But I think it was...
They're too busy ignoring all of their security officers' thoughts.
That thing is, it wasn't the tactical officer's call. It was because they like programmed that little subliminal trick.
Yeah, Worf didn't help at all. No. Worf did nothing.
But again, it's an issue with like sort of all of them that have had an official, because TOS didn't really have a tactical officer character. Like, it just kind of was the captain's job to handle tactics. But then when later series had an explicit tactical officer, they still wrote it the same way. Why am I just realizing this?
You were bamboozled by the trick.
I have another one for Ro.
Okay.
She bitches the Ferengi in Rascals.
Oh, yeah.
What? It's like the only good thing I'll ever say about Rascals is that Ro got to bitch some Ferengi.
Good job, Ro.
I was trying to think of like something to say about Next Phase. I feel like we only brought it up briefly here, but like that's a pretty significant episode for Ro because it deals a lot with like she's dealing with the belief that she's dead and like the afterlife.
Yeah, but Geordi's the one that saves the day.
Geordi is the one that saves the day. But I thought there was a lot of interesting character stuff for her in that episode, especially like around the whole.
Don't chant for me.
Don't chant for me. Well, and then
Argentina.
Riker.
Damn it! I was about to say that.
Riker wants to give us a eulogy for her.
And we never get to know what it was.
She never gets to hear what it is.
That's a friend Ro kind of has.
Had she been around more, they probably would have actually become friends. They might even actually consensually banged. But
instead, they were just weirdly like he was being a weird Bajoran racist, and she was being Ro.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one to Ro.
Myself. Oh, yeah, because Yar never does anything.
No, she just didn't get to do
it. For the tactical officer.
Yeah. Like, had Yar been around for when the writing got better, she might have, but she was only around for the worst written season.
It's not her fault. It's just a fact of...
her short-lived...
Okay.
Deaths.
2 for Yar.
She's got 2.
Yeah, she's got 2. One of them is stupid. She gets killed by mud.
Yep.
And the other one is pretty badass.
And not even fun mud, not like Harry mud.
Regular mud. I was trying to make a Harry mud joke. You beat me to it. Getting killed by Harry mud would almost be more embarrassing than dying to real mud.
Now the thing is, Yar's second death is off screen, of course.
That's true. She doesn't actually die on the Enterprise.
No,
she dies escaping.
Little fucking Sela.
Sela
rats her out.
Sela rats her out, and she gets executed by Romulans.
That's a terrible way.
While trying to escape and save her daughter from the Romulans.
Still better than dying to mud.
Yeah, it's a better death.
Yeah.
It's not great.
No, neither is
It's a meaningful
good.
death, but she did also bring Sela into existence.
I mean, this is really...
terrible.
You say yesterday's Enterprise, but she doesn't die in yesterday's. She dies in... she dies off screen after yesterday's Enterprise. Her death comes about in Redemption Part 1.
Well, that's when we hear about it.
Or no, Redemption Part 2. Because she has that... It is Part 2. Because she's only revealed as the cliffhanger in Redemption Part
Oh, God. It's so stupid, but also perfectly Romulan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, of course, Romulans would have a weird time-displaced baby of someone.
Now...
Just waiting to bear fruit with Shinzon for reasons.
Ro does die in a blaze of glory, crashing kamikazeing a shuttle into a starship.
That is a badass death.
It's pretty badass.
Of all the let's kill all of our favorite one-off or like minor characters from TNG in Picard, hers I thought worked. We'll talk about this in more detail when we get to Picard, but...
Guys, who else did they kill in Picard? Why am I not remembering all this character...
Hugh.
Oh.
Hugh,
Maddox.
Yeah.
Icheb.
Icheb, more importantly...
Icheb wasn't... Well.
Hugh, Data several times.
Shelby!
Oh yeah, Shelby.
Shelby on screen for 2 seconds just to get shot.
Shelby?
Commander Shelby from
Riker's girlfriend.
Best of Both Worlds.
She's not Riker's girlfriend.
I know.
No, she's the fucking first officer of the Excalibur, god damn it. I know the novels don't count, but fuck.
Sounds like you don't know the novels don't count. No, just kidding.
What a fucking joke.
They specifically did not kill Tuvok. They teased it, though.
I was shocked they didn't kill Tuvok.
That would have been a bridge too far.
Making a bridge joke?
Is this like a Shatner thing? I don't...
No. No, I just say that. Isn't that a phrase?
No, it's a phrase.
It is.
It's a phrase people say.
You put emphasis on bridge, so we thought there was like a Star Trek joke happening.
I just want to say I didn't think that.
Okay.
I don't want them to lump me in with them. I didn't think that.
I just...
Sorry.
That's the thing. I gotta be fair. I'm thinking about it metatextually, and that enrages me in ways I can't even begin to deal with. Like, in universe... Yeah, when we get to Picard Season 3, like, you're gonna have to drug me before every episode, or I will just spend the whole time...
That's probably the way to do it. I don't think we'll be able to tolerate it.
For me, Picard Season 3 is like the rise of Skywalker of Star Trek.
Oh, that's how the rest of us are, or how Jake and I at least will feel during Season 2.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, Season 2 is fucking awful as well.
Season 2 is The Last Jedi.
Kinda, yeah.
Yikes.
Alright, so what are we doing about death?
I don't know.
I want to give it to Ro because I think all of Yar's deaths are stupid.
It's true. I would agree with giving it to Ro.
If we learned she just died in that blaze of glory in yesterday's Enterprise with the Enterprise C, fine. Learning that it was baby fucking Sela.
Baby fucking Sela, kid.
It's a baby fucking
Is it dead?
Sela.
Yes, it's dead. It's Tasha
Oh
fucking Yar.
no. Oh
Like,
my god.
Like, setting aside that she was only there because she went back to Starfleet for some reason that doesn't make sense. It is a better death.
Well, here's the thing. If she hadn't gone back to Starfleet, her death would have been murdered by Jem'Hadar.
Or you could have just...
Off screen.
Like, maybe she just, obviously the Maquis end. But she could have survived that and just said, you know what, fuck it, move back to Bajor and been a Bajoran.
Like, here's the thing. Really, what they...
Ro should have been on Voyager.
Ro should... Well, yes, Ro obviously should have been on Voyager. And Ro... But no, here's my argument for Ro. Ro should have been the 7 of 9 character in Picard.
In that she should be a reclaimed Borg?
No.
What the fuck are we talking
about? The backstory that they gave 7 of 9 in Picard
would have made way more
sense. The Rangers.
That would have made a lot of fucking sense, actually.
And, like, he actually would have already had a connection to the character in that case. Yeah. Damn.
But God, Picard is so bad.
Maybe she wasn't available. We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, did have Jerry Ryan, which is always great.
Yeah, she's alright.
And they finally, finally got to be in a series where she got to wear dignified clothing.
I'll have things to say about this in the future. But,
yeah.
Because I also have thoughts about 7 of 9.
God, we're gonna become the most insufferable fucking podcast when we get to Picard.
We're just gonna be so angry all the time. I mean, I feel like...
How's that different from now?
I was gonna say, we're gonna be very angry people for several years.
I won't be, because I fucking won't be able to remember what any of the episodes are about, so I'll just be, like, floating around blissfully, what did we watch?
What'll happen is, I'll be the one person that is... Well, then again, I thought I was gonna be the one person defending Enterprise. We saw what happened there. I'll probably be the one person who's like, come on, Discovery wasn't that bad. But Picard, we're all gonna be kind of annoyed, so...
Anyway, who are we giving the deaths to?
No.
I heard votes for Ro. I heard Ro. What did Chris?
Specifying in-universe Ro.
Yeah, I'd say Ro.
Metatextually,
with Ro
fuck
as
her
well.
death.
No one's gonna fight for Yar.
Sorry, Yar.
Even her own
Costello
horrible...
fought for you.
for herself.
Her own horrible daughter didn't fight for her.
All right.
Yikes.
She's such a good Romulan, though. They're such terrible people. I love them.
But who's dressed to kill?
Yar.
Yar does have that.
She's got that great fucking haircut.
That sex dress.
No, I just for that
the
one, that right there.
Oh, the Haven.
That
there.
wins everything. Just that one time with that haircut, that should have just been her permanent haircut.
I thought
It was
her
a good
nightie was
haircut.
pretty nice too.
Oh,
I know.
sexy.
Nightie?
Naked now?
And naked now.
Ooh,
Naked.
I don't even remember that.
Naked
Naked
now.
thing.
Naked now.
I don't remember the terrible X dress.
Naked.
Extras?
The dress, it had like it was a cross bra kind of.
Was that hers?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
I can
with
think of
her
is,
hair slicked down all weird.
Like, thank God for Heaven for Little Girls or whatever that Sugar and Spice. The episode of TOS where they had... Wasn't there?
Oh,
Didn't
yeah.
the robots have, like, X dresses?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not paying any attention.
The one you love, this one with the
Ruck.
androids and Christian
What are little
Chapel.
girls
Ruck.
made of?
Okay, what Jake said.
What
Yeah,
are-
what are
what
little
is
girls
it? What are
made
little
of?
girls
The
made of?
woman
Andrea.
had like a sort of an X shaped.
Yeah. What about
Yeah.
it?
That I was just saying that's the only one I remember. I don't remember Yar's.
Yar's had sort of like a similar X design.
Yar.
I think.
Yeah, I think and Ro really has
A bob
a
and
cool earring.
she has a bob and a headband. It's fine.
Yeah, she's kind of pretty utilitarian. She doesn't.
Well, she didn't fucking grow up playing dress up, did she?
No,
Well,
neither did Yar.
Yeah, Yar was running from rape gangs. Damn it.
I'm just saying that Haven hair counts for a lot.
Yeah.
That's a great haircut. The fact that it wasn't her permanent haircut makes me sad. Headband.
An earring, like there's a religious component to that, which makes it
Yeah, and
less.
it means I also give her credit for like standing up for. I want to.
Oh yeah, totally.
I want to portray my culture. Why does Worf get to an
Yeah,
icon?
I was just gonna say they never ever gave. You know why?
Oh,
Because fucking Worf would have beaten Riker to death with his own arm.
She gives her Starfleet jacket to a child.
Shucks.
Oh yeah, I forgot
It's
about
her
that.
Starfleet uniform.
They'll just replicate another one, eh?
That's true. We do get to see. I think she's the only one we get to see in the Starfleet issued tank top.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Before Voyager, yeah, I think so.
It's a different tank top too.
Yeah.
Because Voyager, they're just like the normal looking gray ones. I
Yeah,
forget.
gray tank top.
I'm still angry that we didn't see more of the scant.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not really mad, but I mean,
All right,
if you're gonna do it, do
I
it.
So are we giving it to Ro or Yar?
I'm giving it to Yar.
Oh, Yar flat.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
haircut is just worth so many more points.
All right. So
All right, we're tallying.
it looks like we have a tie.
Yeah, we have a fucking
Did it fucking tie?
It
Yeah.
did.
That's amazing.
Well, then that means we have to try to get to the bottom of ethical stands, right?
Okay, yeah, I ruined it by being a bitch about 8.
I would say Ro gets it for me from ethical stands.
Yeah, because I think in Preemptive Strike, her ethical stand is so well put. Like, I expected Ro to get it for ethical stands because I was not considering Picard at all. Maybe we should.
Everybody's happier that way.
Oh, but then she'll lose deaths if we don't consider that because she's not dead.
Well, then we just lose that category.
But then we have a tie again. No, I don't know if that's true.
No, then we would, right? Because we'd have a win here and then a win here. Or no, if we lose the category,
Completely.
then no, then Ro would win.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well,
I think, right?
but I feel like her death is such an important part of her hair. Kinda. Because she gets to come back and be like, I always loved you, Captain Daddy.
Self-destruct the ship. Do my favorite Janeway
I was
impersonation.
gonna say,
What? I mean, the thing is,
Self-destruct
does
the
there
ship.
have to be a winner? Can we just say that
They're both badasses.
They're both
Yeah,
badasses,
there we go.
and they're both criminally underused.
Yeah, like I expected Ro to just win flat when we discussed this, so I did pointedly give Yar some gimme points in like because I knew personal style Yar with that hair, and I knew Kitty Fucking obviously. But I think this also goes to prove that if Yar had stuck around and then gotten written by the better writers, like Rogat, she'd be a great character.
Well, here's the other thing, too, though. Strength of acting wasn't a category.
If she'd
but
stuck
Michelle
around,
Forbes is... No.
she might have gotten better.
Terry Farrell got really good.
We always bring
We always say this.
Mayweather has abs.
So much so
I just think the problem is, and I was saying this to Ames the other day, is that the writers, or really the creators of TNG, fucked themselves in multiple ways.
Oh yeah.
By having 2 security guards. They had Yar and
But
Worf.
no chief engineers.
But no chief engineers.
Morons!
Guys, how could you forget Argyle like this?
Hey, you know how the chief engineer in TOS was one of the major characters? You know what this new show doesn't need? A chief engineer.
But it does need a psychiatrist on the bridge.
And
that's the thing.
2 tactical
And 2
people.
tactical officers and a blind man driving the ship.
Well, that actually was kind of a nice Star Trek-ish thing. Oh, it's not an X. It's a... Well, it's kind of...
And just to clarify, we were saying this was a good dress or a bad
I'm
dress?
showing everybody
I think it's sexy. I like it.
Oh, I hate it.
I'm not a fan.
This is the outfit from Naked Now.
What about the Superman?
Whoa! Do we have
swirl?
to take away her point for personal style?
It's
Oh,
so
God,
bad,
no.
it's so bad.
No, she won for that haircut. We don't have to
Yeah.
talk about it.
I'm not sure
and
about...
I like the hair in this too. So
Yeah, Superman.
the
The
little
little-
swirl.
yeah.
The swirl.
I like the swirl.
What do they call that? There's a word for that, isn't there?
Yes,
That
there
curl.
is. Spit curl, I think? Spit curl.
Sounds right.
Gross.
As opposed to
Yeah.
a cowlick.
Gross.
I think I always thought that was a cowlick.
Yeah, no, that's like just a random yank at the back
Yeah,
of
I
the head
know.
like
I have one, it turns out.
Everyone has one. I thought.
Well, yeah, but you have to have short hair to have it
Oh,
really
to notice
show
it,
itself.
yeah.
Yeah. People, in fact, once made fun of me because I didn't know what it was, and I said like, "Oh, what the hell's a cowlick?" It was my boss at the vet's office. She didn't really make fun of me, but she went, "Oh, the girl with a cowlick doesn't know what a cowlick is," and I was like, "I don't know. I still don't know what a cowlick is."
You're just going over yourself like, wait, what?
Would you call me bitch?
Well, I ruined everything.
You
no,
tend
it's
to.
fine. I think it's nice. I think it's fitting.
So, ooh, too loud.
Wow!
Chris,
keep
why are
doing
you
that.
so loud today?
I don't know. I think it's a
Loud
little
man.
punchy.
I think Chris is deaf.
Well,
Chris, you deaf?
I do have hearing issues, but...
Oh, sorry. Then that was rude.
So, this has been episode...
336.
336 of A Star to Steer Her By. We are leaving on thematically appropriate. You know, we didn't know who was right on that planet, and we ended with a tie between Yar and Ro. So, look at that.
Definitely T'Pol. T'Pol was right.
There we go. So please do join us next week when we will be discussing future tense. I bet time travel's involved.
Oh boy.
And I genuinely don't remember how this is pronounced. I'm sure we'll hear it in the episode. It's either Canamar or Kanamar or... I don't know. It's Canamar.
Calamari.
So look forward to
Calamari.
hearing how that's pronounced next week. Until then, follow us on Facebook and SoundCloud and go to sshbpodcast.com to get to our Tumblr.
Where you can see the board.
Yes.
The beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, the
board.
Roe versus Yar board.
And you can maybe jump in and be like, well, thanks for ruining everything, Chris. Here's why you're wrong. Or you can be like, you know what? That handsome fellow has a point. Until next week, this has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
And this is always Jake.
Which one of us is the handsome fellow?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Damn.
the fuck is this? Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her
it's
By.
my week, bitch!
Yes, I haven't even done the silence yet.
Whoa.
I'm just trying to get us moving, kids.
No moving.
I'm ready to get moving.
I like to move it. I like to move it. My bowels, move it.
I like to move it.
Have they used that in like a laxative ad before?
I don't know, but I fucking wish, dude.
That would be amazing.
I mean, they often do. Like, there's that one that's like, I gotta take a piss, I gotta take a piss. I gotta piss, I gotta
Gotta
piss.
go, gotta go,
That's
gotta go
the
right
one.
now.
Oh,
Gotta
that's
go, gotta go.
not at all what Jake was
Wow,
saying.
I forgot all about that terrible ad.
Yeah, I gotta take a piss, gotta shit my pants.
I gotta pee.
We still haven't done the silence. Oh,
No.
God.
Alright,
We're
silence.
stuck with this.
Hey.
Now.